Absolutely.
Mazel tov, Rabbi. I'm a girl.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. Okay, Maimer Yehuda Ata, we're going to be learning today Daled and Hey. We're going to be moving a bit quicker in this Maimer because we want to get it finished because everyone's ready for the next Maimer. So let's start off with what were we learning until now? That to be like Yehuda is all about Hoidaya. It's all about thanking Hashem. And to be like him, first you have to have a checha. First you have to have the brother. You have to be like Reuven. Reuven is Re'iyah. It's seeing Hashem. What does seeing Hashem in your life lead to? What feelings does that lead to? Come on, help me out, guys. What feelings does Re'iyah lead to?
Love.
Ava, love. Then there's like Shimon. It's all about hearing. It's hearing. You don't really get the picture, but you see the overall situation. So that's all about. Shimon is hearing leads to? Yira, fear. Then we have Levi, which is connection. That's bringing a long-term connection. Now we're going into Dalet. And you ready for something interesting? We're going to say that about how the three brothers lead up to Yehuda. This is what it means that Yehuda, your brothers, will acknowledge you, or the way we typed it. That Yehuda, Yehuda Ata Yoducha, how are you going to have thanks to Hashem through Achecha, through your brothers? The Avodah of the brothers. Who are the brothers? Reuven, Shimon, and Levi. Which are, when do we do their Avodah? Base Parashas Kriya Shema. By the first two parts of Kriya Shema is Reuven and Shimon. And the Emes Yatziv, the continuation of Kriya Shema, is Levi. Hiakdoma, that's a preparation, the Achona. And more about preparation, Levkinas Yehuda to Yehuda, Avodah of the Shemoneh Esrei, which is represented by Shemoneh Esrei, Bittul, thanks and being nullified, being bottled, saying I'm nothing for you, Hashem. You know how nullified? Ka'avda kamamori, like a servant before his master. Then when a servant stands in front of his master, he's in such a state of nullification. He's like, I'm nothing. I'm just an extension of doing the will of the master. What does this have to do with thanking Hashem? Yehuda's Avodah is a very interesting one. Because it's a bit of a mix between being thankful and being nullified, putting yourself on the side. The opposite of ego. I'd say the best word for this in English is acknowledgement. I acknowledge, like we say in Shemoneh Esrei, which is what was represented by Yehuda, we bow down, we say, we acknowledge that you, Hashem, everything comes from you, and we have nothing without you. So, can you guys think of a better word for this idea? Help me out with a word in English. Of this idea that something is both thanks and bittul and nullification. I'd say acknowledgement is the best. Like realizing that everything comes from Hashem.
Water is on water. Right? Where the seeds before you were boiled it, and now you have a very good.
So there are some people, who, let me tell you a fantastic story about an example of Hidayah, of someone who's thankful and nullified at the same time. He feels like he deserves nothing. That. One second. First, let me tell you a story of Bittul. What it means to think of yourself as nothing. There was once a Yid, whose name was Reb. He's like a Manchester. And he was the Chassidus of the Tzemach Tzedek. Now, he was famous for being incredibly humble. So one time he traveled to Lubavitch to visit his Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek. And there was a young Chassid in town who got so excited. He heard the famous Chassid from Manchester. The Rav of Manchester came in, not to be confused with Manchester. Yeah, it's very, very far away from Manchester. The Rav of Manchester has come to Lubavitch and he's like, I've got to meet this man, famous for being so humble. And he finds out what hotel is staying in. It wasn't much of a hotel. You can imagine Lubavitch was a small town. It would have been someone would put up a sign in front of his house and use the upstairs rooms as lodgings, and his kitchen would have been the dining hall. So this chassid marches up to this inn, a ketchme in Yiddish, and he sees some older chassid walking out of the building. So he says, "Excuse me, have you heard of the great chassid, the Rav Manchester? Is he staying here?" So this Yiddish walks out and says, that chassid, he's not as great as they make him out to be. So this young man gets all angry. He's like, "How dare you respect the Rav Manchester?" And he gives him a smack, a big thrust in the face. And this guy, instead of getting all angry at him, he just walks off. Okay, got smacked in the face, he walks off. Now the chassid prepares himself, tucks in, puts himself in the right mind frame, and walks into the hotel with bated breath and asks the chassidim there, "Excuse me, have you seen the Rav Manchester? Is it true it's staying here?" And they say, "Yeah, of course it's staying here. Actually, just walked out a second ago. You probably saw him on your way in." And now the chassid realized that, oh no, this great holy persona who he wants to idolize, he just smacked him in the face. So he goes running up to him and he says, Rabbi, please forgive me. Have pity on me. I didn't know what I was doing. Please forgive me. So you know what the Rav Manchester tells him? "Forgive you? What for? You didn't do anything wrong to me. I don't have anything against you. I have no grudges against you." He was so humble that someone disrespecting him like that, he was like, "Okay, whatever. Doesn't hurt me." This is someone who's humble. Then some people, their humility, when they face Hashem, they realize they're so humble that they look at themselves like nothing. But then they realize that everything comes from Hashem. So they're so grateful for absolutely everything that they have. Let me tell you a story about this. There was once a chassid who came to the Maggid of Mizrich, and he started complaining that it's such a hard life. Yeah, you guys have hard lives? Everyone nowadays has hard lives. It's amazing. We're in the time of the period of history when people have the most convenience, the best health, the longest lives, and nevertheless, everyone's having such a hard life. But that's a discussion for a different time. So this chassid came to the Maggid of Mizrich and is complaining that he doesn't know how can he handle all the hardships Hashem's imposed upon his life. He just can't handle it. So the Maggid says, if you really want to know how to be happy and not only survive. Okay, we're going to be continuing Yehuda Ata Yoducha. Thank you so much. We're not going to read this story. World-class story coming up. The story is going to demonstrate how some people are so humble that they see everything from Hashem as a blessing. So, this Yid came to the Maggid Mizrich and said, "Hashem's troubled me. He's given me so many tribulations. I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know how I can survive through such a hardship Hashem gives me." Yeah, you guys ever feel like that? No? Never? Okay, that's good. Baruch Hashem. Keep it that way. So the Maggid tells him, let me teach you how to be happy with whatever your Hashem's given you, whatever your lot is, no matter how hard it is. But for that, to learn that, you have to travel to Reb Zusha of Anipoli. And you can learn from Reb Zusha. He's going to teach you. So the chassid said, "Okay, fine." So this chassid packs his bags and sets off to find his new spiritual master, Reb Zusha of Anipoli, who will teach him his great secret of serving Hashem with love, no matter what troubles and tribulations. He's trekking along the back roads of Eastern Europe, and he finally arrives in the small town of Anipoli. And he goes to the biggest shul in town, and he asks one of the congregants over there, "Excuse me, where can I find the great and holy teacher and master, Reb Zusha?" So this guy looks at him a bit strange. He's like, "Maybe you made a mistake." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "We don't have any Rabbi Zusha in this town. We don't have any great and holy master Rabbi Zusha in this town. Maybe you got the wrong town. Maybe you got the wrong name." He's like, no, I'm looking for the holy Rabbi Zusha of Anipoli. He's like, "Never heard of such a person." He goes to the next guy. "Where can I find the great holy master of Zusha of Anipoli? I want to learn from him." He's like, "I'm sorry, there's no Rabbi Zusha in this town." No, you have the wrong address. He's going crazy. He's like, I'm 100% sure the Maggid told me to go to Rabbi Zusha of Anipoli and to learn from him. He gives up from the shul. He heads up in the street. He starts knocking on doors. He's like, "Where can I find the great and holy Rabbi Zusha of Anipoli?" No one's heard of him. Then he's asking people walking down the street. It's like, "Excuse me, where can I find the great and holy Rabbi Zusha of Anipoli?" No one can help him. Eventually, he's about to give up. He's going out of his mind. Like, what's going on over here? Finally, he asks someone, and they say, we don't have any great and holy Rabbi Zusha Anipoli. He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, but we do have a guy in town named Zusha. There's some poor guy. He lives on the edge of the village, way by the poor section, just outside the poor section, because it's too poor for the poor section. His name's Zusha. Maybe you're looking for him. He's not exactly a great and holy rabbi. He's just a poor man. So this guy says, okay, I'll try my luck. He trudges to the poor section of the village. You can imagine the slums, living in Eastern Europe. People didn't have money. They didn't have 2 cents. They're living in these shacks. And outside of the poor section, you have a rickety, broken down shack with cold coming in through cracks in the windows and through the beams that the house is made out of, the walls, the roof, you name it, the leaky roof. Knocks on the door creaks open, and you see he's standing there is a man, a Chassid. And the guy's like, yes, how can I help you? He's like, is this the home of the great and holy Rabbi Zusha? So he says, I'm not the great and holy rabbi, but my name's Zusha. So he says, can I please stay with you? And Zusha says, yeah, for sure. What brings you to town? So he says, the Maggid of Mizrich sent me to you. So this Rabbi Zusha jumps up in excitement. He says, the Maggid sent you to me? Amazing. This is the cause of a yontif. And he calls out, children, let's set the table for a yontif. How do they set the table for the yontif? He walks in, he sees the children, look starving, hungry. The table is a plank of wood and balanced on a tree stump. And all the chairs are just pieces of logs. And they say, we're going to have a yontif, we're going to have a meal with fish. What's the meal with the fish? A few sardines, epis. That's the meal. They bring out soup. What's the soup? The soup's hot water. Hot water in a bowl is the soup.
And you see that.
And you see, exactly. And you see the children are huddled in the corner whispering, maybe this man will be a nice man and leave over some food for us. The place looks like a disaster. Clearly, Rabbi Zusha lives in absolute poverty. He must have the hardest life of anyone has ever met. This guy's looking around. His life looks like a dream compared to Rabbi Zusha's life. So Rabbi Zusha says, please stay over for the night. It'll be our honor to host you. We'll give you the best bed in the house. He gets the best bed in the house because it's on a log he has on a plank of wood. They put down some straw so you can sleep on the straw. It's a comfy bed. So this guy couldn't sleep a wink that night. He's used to having a decent bed to sleep on. The next day, the guy's packing up his stuff, having stayed with Rabbi Zusha. And Rabbi Zusha says, okay, what did the Maggid send you here for? So the guy says, the Maggid sent me to learn how to be happy with all your troubles in life. How to be happy no matter what hardships you have in life. So Rabbi Zusha looks at him, genuinely confused, and he says, he sent you to me? Why would he send you to me? I didn't have any struggles in life. I didn't have any hardships. Now the guy got the point. You understand, some people, no matter what they get, no matter how much they have, they're always sad. They always want more. They always are upset. Some people, like Rabbi Zusha, he's so thankful to Hashem for everything he has that he doesn't even see any problems in his life. He's just constantly thankful. He doesn't feel like he deserves more. Some people are very egotistic, feel that they deserve more. It's not fair that they have less. Some people are Rabbi Zusha. He's both very humble. He doesn't feel like he deserves more. And he's also always thankful to Hashem. So he always feels like, wow, everything's going great. Baruch Hashem. So that's the type of guy we're talking about in our Maimer. So now let's go right back in and talk about someone who's like Yehuda or like Rabbi Zusha, that his davening Shemoneh Esrei and really expressing how thankful he is to Hashem and how nullified he is. That this nullification you feel during Shemoneh Esrei, who Bittul B'tach was absolute Bittul, even higher than the Bittul Kriyashma. How do we know this? Like it's understood, from all the different halachas, being hefsek chulu about whether you can interrupt and whatnot, between Kriyashma and Shemoneh Esrei. So, if you guys open up a Shulchan Aruch, you'll find out that if you're in the middle of davening Shemoneh Esrei or Kriyashma and you see something you need to interrupt for, whether you see a rainbow out the window and you need to make a bracha on a rainbow, I'm not sure why you're looking out the window, or if the chazan gets up to saying Kedusha, or whether they pull out the Torah to read the Torah, are you allowed to interrupt? Are you not? Well, there's different situations. Each one is a different situation, but one thing's for sure: you're never allowed to interrupt Shemoneh Esrei. And Krishma, you're most of the time not allowed to interrupt. The vast majority of the time. But Shemoneh Esrei is more strict. The reason it's more strict, because we express Bittul to Hashem more than. But this idea, which idea? The fact that Avodah, through the Avodah against Reuben, Shimon, and Levi, of Reuben, Shimon, and Levi, we come after Yehuda, to the level of Yehuda, which son is he is Ben number 4, Ben Aravi. So you needed to go through 1, 2, 3, Reuben, Shimon, and Levi to unlock level number 4, which is Yehuda. That's a bit like something we find in Pirkei Avos. Now, what's that? Well, Derek, you do it's like it's known, but you didn't Gemilus Chassadim about the 3 crowns. It talks about Pirkei Avos, the 3 crowns you could have. Kesed Torah, Kesed Kudim, Kesed Malchus. The crown of Torah, the crown of being a Kohen, Kahuna. It's translated in English as priesthood, but I don't really like that word for obvious reasons. And Kesed Malchus, the crown of kingship. Shehem, Gimel Kabim Torah, Veda Gemilus Chassadim. So think about it. What's Kesed Torah is obviously in the way of Torah. That's like Levi. Yeah? Kesed Kudim, the Kohenim were known for having much love. Like it says, Kohen ish chesed in the pasuk. Or also, the Kohenim, when they bless the people, what do they say in Shul? Say, Havarich Am Yisrael Ba'ava. Blessed are you, Hashem, who commanded us to bless the people of Israel with love. So Kohenim have extra love. So they're the cover of chesed. And Malchus, what's the king like? Tell me, the king, most people follow the law. Because they, as an expression of their great love for the king, or because they don't want to get arrested? Let me ask you, what's a country with a proper king nowadays? Like a real king. You don't really have it. Nowadays you have, your options nowadays are either like a democracy or like a dictatorship. But dictatorship is probably the closest we can experience to a kingship. But yeah, you go to a country with a very strict ruler. Most people, maybe Kim Jong-un. Yeah, very good. You go to North Korea, no one's keeping the laws because like they really appreciate the leader.
Make it look like that.
Saying after all the propaganda, maybe they're convinced. Maybe, I don't know. But most people, you don't want to get arrested. You'd really rather not get arrested. Back in the day with the Tsar, how many people, if you were in Russia in the times of the Tsar, how many people were keeping the Tsar's rules because they loved the Tsar? I don't think so many. Most people just didn't want to get in trouble. It's a feeling of fear. So the crown kingship is fear.
America did not fear the police or God.
You're saying in America we have neither. Okay, maybe we have to work on that. So, the 3, it's because America's getting ready for the time of Mashiach. And in the times of Mashiach, it says we're no longer going to need to have any policemen because everyone's just going to do the right thing. So, at the moment, we definitely need some policemen, though. So these are Torah, Avodah, and Gemilus Chassadim, right? So, what happens after the 3 of them? Then you have the 4th crown. You have Kesed Shem Tov She'ol Al Gabein. The crown of a good name goes over all of them. The fact when someone has a good reputation, they're a good person, that's the best of the best. So, Shulam Eileman, it's higher than that. That when I first learned this, I thought, okay, there's 3 crowns, and then there's also a 4th crown, which is even better. No, the Rebbe says, in order to get Kesed Shem Tov to having a good reputation, that's only through the 3 crowns. That's why it says Oila al Gabein. If you look at the word, it says it goes up over them. It doesn't say the 3rd crown is better than them. It says the 3rd crown rises over them. Because only when you have the 3, you unlock number 4. So you have to do, really, Torah, Avodah, and Gemilus Chassadim, which are the crowns of Torah, Kuna, and Malchus. And only through that you can unlock Kesed Shem Tov, the crown of a good reputation. So, can you guys think of any good examples, by the way? I couldn't think of a good example of something that we have in our regular life that, like, you need to have 3 to unlock, like, level number 4.
A video game.
A video game? Maybe. I was thinking, but you need to have, like, all 3 from different approaches. I was thinking, like, maybe there's a airline that offers, if you're, like, a gold member, and you also have 10,000 miles, and you also buy business class tickets, then through all 3, you get upgraded to, like, a platinum member. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah? So just like this, you have to have Reuven. You have to be like Reuven, which is Ava, which is the crown of Kuna on one side. You have to be like Shimon, which is Hero, which is like the crown of Malchus. You have to be like Levi, which is Torah, which is the crown of Torah. And through all those, you upgrade to Yehuda, which is the crown of a good reputation.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Well, you have to go through all three of them, or could you go through one of them and go to the
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So it seems from what we're saying that you need all three in order to really upgrade. You have to have Reuben, Shimon, and Levi.
As someone's an Avodah person.
Oh, very good. Very, very good. So your question is, if someone's naturally someone who's just a loving person, so they go out and feed the homeless every day, how are they going to go and do the other forms of service? Now, let me answer you like this. If someone's such a nice, loving person that they always go around helping people, are they really serving Hashem, or are they just doing what they naturally do? They're doing what they naturally do. Obviously, what they're doing is a good thing. What they naturally do that people can use out their natural traits in a good way or a bad way. And this person deserves so much credit for using them out in a good way.
Well, how did he
But if you're really serving Hashem, the ultimate is going above your nature. So not even someone who naturally wants to feed the homeless, but you're not very studious, to serve Hashem, you have to both go out and help others, like Chesed. And then the real deal is when you go above your nature and say, okay, I'm going to buckle down and I'm going to study some Torah, even though it's hard to me. But what about the opposite? Someone who's naturally studious, so they're sitting and learning Torah every day. And you know what? You know what the Alter Rebbe says about these people in the Maimer and Torah in Parashas Toldus? That maybe if they weren't born Jewish, they would just dedicate their life to studying maths or something, because they're just naturally studious people. So for them, really serving Hashem is like, okay, it's really hard for me. I'd be much more comfortable sitting in a corner in a library studying some Torah, but I'm going to go out to the street and help someone who needs help out there. So go above and beyond themselves. Does that mean we can't do what we're naturally inclined to do? Of course we should do what we're naturally inclined to do. We should use out, if Hashem gave you a talent, it's for a reason, to be used out for the best. That's why we have to go through all three approaches. Torah, Avodah, Gemilus Chassadim, like Reuben, Shimon, and Levi. And through all of those, we can really let our neshama be expressed to bring out like being like Yehuda, who is always feeling so gracious and thankful and just living with Hashem. Tomorrow we're going to find out the $1 million question. You know what it is? At the beginning of our Maimer, we said every Jew is like Yehuda. Every Jew constantly wants to thank Hashem. But now, over here we're saying, well, you have to be a perfect Jew first. First, you have to be like Reuben, you have to be like Shimon, you have to be like Levi, you have to have Torah, Avodah, Gemilus Chassadim. You have to do everything before you can be like Yehuda. So is it for everyone, or is it only for the superstars? We're going to find that out tomorrow. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Maybe tomorrow, hopefully, we'll finish the Maimer. We're going to have a bit of a longer share.